Good evening and welcome to Vsb News Online for Monday, March the 2nd. I'm Brian Darby. A 15-member Seniors Advisory Council came into being today, with Health Minister Jean Atherton expressing the hope that it will link passion with experience in tackling the varying challenges facing our growing band of seniors. They'll be under the leadership of Chairman Dr. John Cann and Deputy Chair Marion Sherritt.
We're faced with families who have been challenged with keeping up with the care needs of their spouses or relatives. We have seniors who are finding it difficult to make ends meet while taking care of their health needs. We have a growing number of elderly Bermudians, some of whom are not so elderly, who are suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia. On top of all of this, we're challenged by a shrinking budget for financial assistance and a shortage of residential care homes. As a government, we have an obligation to set policies and plan for the future, and we have a responsibility to ensure that the people who live and work in Bermuda have the knowledge they need to plan for their own future. We need to make sure that today's young people are prepared for their old age. We don't want them to be elderly and reliant on the government for their housing and care. I will be asking the Seniors Advisory Council to work with our government department and our civil servants to develop a comprehensive national aging plan for Bermuda. Part of that plan will, by necessity and as a matter of priority, need to address the issues surrounding long-term care. I expect that the National Aging Plan will provide guidance on a number of strategies that need to be employed to ensure that every Bermudian is prepared for their retirement years. Everything from housing, saving, investment, pensions, health planning, including power of attorney and advance directives, as well as estate planning, will be addressed. The long-term care strategy, as part of the aging plan, will focus on the continuum of care for vulnerable persons. This includes seniors as well as young disabled individuals. We anticipate that it will consider strategies for ensuring that seniors can age at home for as long as possible, provide projections for the number of institutional beds that will be required, and develop models for paying for the appropriate levels of care and the supporting services that are needed.
Just over a year ago, Bermuda experienced torrential rainfall, and this past weekend more rain occurred, and while not nearly as much as February the 14th last year, it still managed to make Palmetto Road collapse further. Adrian Smatt has the details.
Valentine's Day last year was marred by a huge amount of rain, causing flooding, road closures, and school closures across the island. It was that night that a landslide of sorts occurred and swept the hillside below Palmetto Road right into the house located at number 6 Perimeter Lane, a house owned by Mr. and Mrs. John Roach. Around this time last year, we spoke to the owner, who said he was hoping to get the situation rectified and get his shed rebuilt so he could get his pumps installed and stop dipping water. Since then, a new shed has been built to contain his pumps, but the road above his house has since collapsed further. Fortunately, this time it didn't directly affect his home. The Minister of Public Works, Craig Cannonier, released this statement on Sunday. The Ministry of Public Works is advising the public that Palmetto Road is closed from Bishop Spencer Road to Marsh Folly Road. All vehicular traffic is being advised by the ministry to go along North Shore Road instead of Palmetto Road. The road closure is due to a further collapse of material as a result of rain. In the interest of safety, the ministry is advising motorists to avoid Palmetto Road to enable work being undertaken by ministry personnel to expedite the completion of the project. For Vsb News, I'm Adrian Smatt.
For the second time in under 6 months, Premier Michael Dunkley has had the opportunity to meet with His Royal Highness Prince Abdullah, a prominent member of the Saudi Arabian royal family who owns the Elbow Beach Hotel. The meeting last Friday provided an opportunity for the Premier and the Prince to continue their previous conversation regarding tourism, the Elbow Beach property, hotel development in Bermuda, and the America's Cup. Premier Dunkley thought the discussions were fruitful and productive, and says he was encouraged by the Prince's continued dedication and commitment to maintaining Elbow Beach as a world-class resort. BIU President Chris Ferbert did not seem at all surprised when he was informed at a recent press conference that salaried employees of the Bermuda Electric Light Company have been meeting to discuss joining a union along the lines of the Bermuda Public Service Union.
All I can say to you is that if that is happening, the workers recognize that it's time for them to have some representation because of the way that the management team is treating them, and as a result of that, Certainly the Constitution allows for that to happen, that if a worker feels like they want to belong to a union, they can go here, provided that, the bargaining unit is made up of the group and the majority of the group agree to have recognition, then that's fine.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
The Bermuda Public Speaking and Debate Tournament took place this weekend at the Bermuda High School. Teams from a variety of middle and high schools participated, and a total of 36 local students and 6 students from Canada took part. It was an exciting day for youth debate on Saturday, and in the finals, the Salters team came up against the BHS A team, with the end result being a unanimously voted win for the BHS. Vsb News spoke to 2 of the winning team members about what it took to prepare for this competition.
We started preparation about a month ago in January when we first got the motion, and myself, my counterpart Nikki here, and our additional team member Megan Sutcliffe had also been engaged in the November tournament, and we had managed to win that tournament as well. So we figured that as a team we'd like to move forward together, and we worked pretty well together. So we decided for this tournament we should go ahead and try to have a repeat performance.
The motion for Saturday was this House would make gap years mandatory. And before then, we never really thought of the idea of gap years, but even through research, it allowed me to think maybe I should consider a gap year, so it opened up more possibilities.
But what's it like juggling preparation for a big major debate tournament and the IB program?
Well, the IB program at BHS here is pretty rigorous as well, so we had a number of other commitments to our work in addition to our debate. But additionally, our other team member, Megan Sutcliffe, was also engaged in the heat of her mock exams for her GCSEs this year, so we found it difficult to get together often and prepare as much as we had for the November tournament, but we still managed to pull together and have a successful result on Saturday.
How was Saltus as a competitor? I know that you faced them in the impromptu round, you narrowly beat them out there, and then unanimously beat them in the finals. How was that?
I think Saltus, they were a great team this time. I think they were more coordinated this time rather than the November. And just beating them in the impromptu, we felt like we were so lucky to go up against them and to beat them. It was a great victory.
Veteran PLP representative Derek Burgess has called on Parliament to emulate the Bermudian governments of old and reduce the governor's pay if he does not do what the people of Bermuda ask of him.
Those boys in government that was controlling this country, they withheld pay from the governor when he acted up. If he didn't act in the interest, this is in the history book, if he didn't act in the interest of Bermuda, they withheld his pay. And that's what we should be doing here. Because when you can bypass Bermudians, when the necessary protocols have been approved by the premier, highest office in the country, and you give it to somebody else, the occupant of government house should not be here, and we need to stop paying him. This is an insult to every Bermudian in this country. And just as those boys started back in this day, they need to start living something like Sir Henry Tucker. I know Sir Henry won't have that. Won't have it. And Whitehall would know that. Just like they stopped paying when the UK told Bermuda not to trade with the Americans, the government says, screw you.
Bermuda still does not have a new Commissioner of Education. So VSB News' Charles Webb was left to wonder how the new Minister, Wayne Scott, will be able to cope with the major school changes that are under consideration.
Well, that is a bit outside of my purview. That is something that the Board of Education has responsibility for, and I know they've been working diligently with that. At this point, however, we have been using acting commissioners to get on with the job that needs to be done, and we will continue to do that. It is our hope that by the start of the school year we have a permanent person in place, but it's it's March 1st this weekend. The school year is a couple months from being over, so although this is very important to do, the critical timeline at this point would be the beginning of the next school year.
Now, your ministry has been historically a very difficult one. Are you finding this difficult, or you see your way a light at the end of the tunnel?
First of all, I'm not here on my own authority, and I really believe that. So I don't take this personal. There's been challenges with education for the last few decades, and I think unfortunately we have had way too many education ministers. When I took this on, I told the Premier, if I take this on, I want to make a minimum commitment of 3 years, ideally at least 5, because I think as a CEO, if you will, and that's what the minister is effectively for this ministry, it takes a while to ensure that things are being put in place effectively. So I can tell you that I'm certainly committed to this. But on the other hand, one of the challenges of this ministry, and let's just put it out there, I mean, it's been a political death spiral for many. I am much more interested in making the right decisions for the betterment of our children than I am to look out for my political backside to be re-elected.
Opposition leader Mark Bean has claimed that in Parliament that Bermuda's economy is not in recovery and that neither is the United States. In our case, he feels whatever the OBA has attempted has been a failure.
So the OBA's attempts to alter the business cycle has not met and will not meet, and it will not reinflate the real estate market. It will not reinflate the real estate market, no matter how many attempts that Minister Fay and others have tried. Or any other market or individual or institution who find themselves over-leveraged and indebted. Nothing the OBA has tried to do to recreate those times will prove to be effective. You cannot counteract the business cycle, Madam Deputy Speaker. Madam Deputy, our local economy has grown weaker. And contrary to the media mouthpieces and academia around the world, even in Bermuda, the global economy, and in particular the United States of America, has not shown any recovery. Any.
And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from our sports desk.
The Somerset Trojans' lead on top of the Premier Division is down to 1 point after action over the weekend. On Friday night at the Somerset Cricket Club, league leaders Somerset Trojans remained on top of the table, although they went down 2-1 to the Devonshire Cougars. Captain Kwame Steed gave the visiting Devonshire Cougars the lead in the first half. Dominic Williams doubled the visitors' lead in the second half. Adolphus Lambert pulled a goal back for the host Somerset Trojans, but they could not find the equalizer as the Devonshire Cougars came away with that 2-1 win. On Sunday, at the BAA field, in a match that was switched from the waterlogged St. John's field, Dandytown took on Hamilton Parish. Dandytown took the lead when Damon Ming scored. Jatino Richardson Martin doubled the lead just before the break. Angelo Simmons gave the Dandytown Hornets a 3-0 lead, but Hamilton Parish would pull a goal back when Angelo Cannonier scored, but neither team would find the back of the net for the remainder of the game as the Dandytown Hornets leapfrogged over Hamilton Parish into second place in the standings, 1 point behind the Somerset Trojans. PHC moved into third place following their 3-2 win over St. George's Colts. Southampton Rangers and Flanagan's drew 1-1. Krista Swanwick and Dion Brewery ran to victory during the Swans Running Club's 5 flat mile road race yesterday, as Swanwick led from start to finish and crossing the line in a time of 25:39. Jose Miranda finished second in a time of 30:42, and Shefton Hall finished third in a time of 32:03. Berry was able to hold off a challenge from Jennifer Allen to take the ladies' title. Berry clocked a time of 33.22, finishing 7th overall, while Allen finished one spot back in a time of 33.24. Lindsay Gale rounded out the top 3 female finishers, clocking a time of 35.46, finishing 11th overall. The 2015 Telford Electric Magic Mile event took place at the National Sports Center on Saturday in very wet conditions. Ashley Irby ran to victory in the 13 to 15 age group girls event, crossing the line in a time of 5:39.08. Laura Hope was second, recording a time of 6:15.26, and Aaliyah Simons finished third in a time of 6:50.35. In the 13 to 15 boys age group, Malik Jewell crossed the line first with a recorded time of 5:34.44. Finishing second was Kyunde Tuzo with a time of 6:00.51, and Giovanni Hollis finished third in a time of 6:02.84. During the trial for the Electric Magic Mile, the Bermuda National Athletic Association held a mini track meet where Sakari Famous won the under-18 girls high jump with a leap of 1.65 meters. Michaela Wilson finished second with a leap of 1.60 meters. The Age Miners highlighted a day of awards and honors for Franklin Pierce men's track and field team as they wrapped up competing at the NEIC AAA Championships at the BU Track and Tennis Center. Franklin Pierce finished 15th overall, with sophomore Miners putting in a strong showing, winning the 800-meter finals, crossed the line in a time of 1:51.71, and that earned him All New England honors. On Saturday at the National Sports Center, the Renegades lifted the Nickel Shield with a 34-13 win over the Police. The Renegades got tries from Callan Mall, Tom Healy, Jan Zedinho, and Pete Dunkley, while Brian Archibald kicked 4 conversions, and including an impressive kick from the touchline into the wind. He also added 2 penalties. The Police got a try from Rudolph van Westeren and Mike Halbert, while Mike Kane kicked a penalty. The Mariners ladies won the Scully Cup with a 3-2 win over the Police. The Bermuda Karting Club season continued at the Bermuda Middle Sports Park in the East End yesterday. Jacob Pereira won 2 of the 3 junior cadet class races, while Ashley Horseman won all 3 junior clone class races. Ryan Lopes won all 3 tag junior class races, with Jason North winning 2 of the tag senior class races. David Barboza won the other. Brandon Frank drove to victory in the 3 125 shifter class races. Despite continual downpours on Saturday, the Bermuda Dressage Group held their leg of the 2015 FEI World Dressage Challenge at the National Equestrian Center on Visa Street. The highest score of the day went to Michelle Ingham riding Roseland with a 70.13%. The Best Present Horse prize went to Midori WF, shown by Carista Rebane. A triple header took place inside the Cedar Bridge Academy Gymnasium on Saturday evening as the latest round of the Island Basketball League season continued. In the opener, the Court Queens recorded a 18-6 victory over the Pink Panthers in women's division action. The second game of the evening was a men's division matchup that saw the Crossfire Ballers defeat the Hoop Stars 85-70. The final game of the night was the Fly Girls getting revenge over the Lady Hawks 31-20. Meanwhile, Janaea Wade-Frey could not prevent her team, the Brixton Topcats, from going down to the Women's British Basketball League Championship leaders, Sheffield Hatters, 87-63. Wade-Frey scored 17 points for the Topcats. In women's division hockey action at the National Sports Center, the Bluebirds defeated the Wildcats 2-1. After a scoreless first half, the Bluebirds took the lead with a field goal off the stick of Courtney Fassler in the 54th minute. But Christine Head equalized for the Wildcats with a penalty corner goal in the 64th minute. Just when it was appearing that the two teams would share the points, Fassler would score again, her second field goal of the game, to earn the Bluebirds the win. In other women's division action, it was the Ravens 2, Canaries 1, Swallows 3, and Budgies 2. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Tuesday, March the 3rd, there will be sunny periods with an early morning shower. Winds will be northerly, moderate to strong, decreasing north-northeasterly and moderate by midday, then gradually veering easterly and easing light to moderate by late night. We're expecting a high near 64 Fahrenheit and a low near 59. Thanks for watching Vsb News Online for Monday, March the 2nd. I'm Brian Darby.